Hey guys, this is HDomKick713. Come back with a new review of a new pickup here. This is the Nike 2016 version of the HyperLive Net Collector Society edition of the shoe. And this shoe is to kind of pay homage to the the March Madness, and actually the ones that actually have brought down the nets, cut down the nets for their championship teams. And the this multicolored there at the top to kind of resemble those teams. Well, let's get into the details of the shoe. This shoe kind of released this week of March Madness, first week. Some stores had a different date. March 17th, I believe, was the official release date. Official colorway of the shoe is kind of this black-white. It also got some multicolored patterns going on it as well. Retailing for $109, which, oddly enough, is actually the same price as the HyperLive model for the Net Collector Society edition of the shoe. But let's take a close look. Up front of the shoe, you got to get that fused material there going on the top portion of the shoe. The Nike logo there in black as you work your way around the side of the shoe. And they got probably the best part of the shoe in terms of its good points. Right here in that portion of the shoe I'm looking at there on the screen, that's a little more of a breathable mesh there that kind of goes through the shoe. You do see that breathability at that part of the shoe. Work our way down to the midsole of the shoe. It's kind of got not much going on. I would almost call this shoe kind of a minimalist shoe. Kind of got that file-on midsole there. And let's look at the lacing system we got going on. A little different, odd lacing system here. It kind of comes at a slanted, if you take a look there, kind of a slanted viewpoint. Really don't like that too much. It does give a sort of unique design in terms of a slant, but it's kind of an odd position for me in terms of where I wear the shoe. And let's work our way around the back. Of course, it's got that nice HyperLive there in the back. Some stitching there in the back heel portion of the shoe. It does have some level of support here. There is some somewhat of a harder plastic here in the rear in terms of for that heel counter support. Kind of an offset there in terms of the midsole on the rear side. And let's take a look at the the inside portion of the shoe. Let's take a look at that. Got the Nike swoosh there on the opposite end of the shoe in black. And the mesh portion of the shoe, that's kind of the breathability, is right there in the middle of that portion of that screen is where the breathability is. And let's take a look at the inner lining of the shoe. Of course, in the middle they got that NCS for that Net Collector Society. And throughout the heel, it's pretty good in terms of material there, in terms of the cushioning on the sides. Work our way up the tongue. Kind of icon there for the nets. The tongue is a little higher, as you see there, it protrudes a little bit, but not too much. And then the black laces. Looking at the sole of the shoe, it's kind of where it's got its best design. If you take a look here, it's in that different multicolored pattern, kind of represent those different schools. In terms of the material of the sole on the bottom, it's a pretty good hard material. So it looks like pretty good quality there. The pattern is kind of this hexagonal type of nut type design in the back and the bottom. It seems to work pretty well. I won't say it's the greatest, but it seems to work pretty well. And the Nike swoosh there in the middle. So like I said, this shoe is, I would almost say it's kind of a minimalist shoe in terms of what it's got going on. Let's look at the tongue on the other side. It's a little different pattern there. Like there's no air unit, no lunar lawn, no zoom units. You know, it's oddly enough when you look at I did a previous review just on my previous video on the HyperLive. It's got the zoom units in that one at the same price of $109, and this one doesn't. But in terms of fit, it's a pretty good fit. I would say true to size. The only thing I would mention in terms of the fit I didn't like was right here in this portion right below the shoelaces. It was a little tight coming on the top portion of my shoes. Some of you guys may like that, but that's the portion I didn't like in terms of the fit. The lengthwise and all that seemed to work pretty well. So with that, guys, that's about it. And just want to kind of give you a quick review of this one in terms of the HyperLive version of the shoe for the Net Collector Society. Pretty nice looking pattern on it, kind of simplistic with the white with the black accents, but definitely pops with that multicolored patterns throughout the tongue and the sole. So on that, guys, that's it. I'll do it on feet and I'll take it from there, but thanks for watching today.